Welcome to our Kickstarter Spotlight. This is our regular roundup of what's looking good on Kickstarter Online. I'm Charlie.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Keith.
This week, we've got a few things lined up for you. We'll be kicking off first with Alex.
Okay, yeah. So, I have a couple of things, a board game and a PC game. I'll start with the board game. It's from the guys that brought us Kingdom of Loathing, which is a browser-based free-to-play RPG MMO. It's been around since about 2003, and it's basically a satirical game. It's all stick figures with ridiculous classes, and it just basically parodies everything from movies to film to music. It's all pop culture. But the guys behind this have decided they want to make a card game, and this has been something requested from the community for quite some time now. So yeah, over the past year, they've come up with the rules, design, concept, and been testing the whole thing, polishing it up. And they hit Kickstarter 5 days ago with the target of reaching $15,000. They're currently sitting on $34,000, so they've done pretty well. It's called Mr. Card Game. Unlike a lot of other Kickstarter projects, they didn't actually do the whole, there are only 250 special keys available. They did, whoever funded in the first 5 days got bonus content, which is good, I think, keeping it time-based rather than actual backer-based, because it's more fair that way. People can find out about it later than others if they were to do so. But yeah, overall, the game is a deck-building card game with a few features they think are slightly more revolutionary than your standard Dominion-style thing. So you basically acquire cards to build stats, items, and skills, and basically just beat your friends at getting the best character build you can in the ridiculous universe that is Kingdom of Loathing.
Sounds interesting. What are the pledge levels for this, and how much are they aiming for?
Yeah, to get a copy of the game, you have to pay $37 plus $15 if you're overseas from the US. So for people in the UK, that's about £32. In Europe, that's about €40, which isn't terrible for a card game, but it can be quite a lot for some people. Still, it looks like it's got a lot of support, so as a fan of the Kingdom of Loathing, I'm probably going to end up kicking this. And even people that haven't played the game, it's worth checking out if you want something funny and sort of RPG-ish, but not too serious.
Are there any ideas what they'll do with the extra money since they've gone well over their target?
Yeah, there's a few ideas for stretch goals. They're mainly putting in extra stuff for people who actually play the online game, like you can receive virtual in-game money every week. They've got t-shirts and things that they'll be introducing, and extra stuff like new cards and stuff to come with the base game. It's nice that they put the effort in.
Sounds good.
My second one is Project Eternity, which most people have probably heard of at this point. This is the one from Obsidian, the guys that brought us Icewind Dale, Planescape Torment, Fallout 1, 2, and New Vegas, Knights of the Old Republic 2. So, they have a nice, strong history. The idea behind it is to make a sort of old-school Icewind Dale, again, style RPG. I guess you could equate it to Dragon Age, but isometric view, controlling a group of heroes and exploring a fantasy world. I don't think it's actually being set in the usual ones for this, which are Forgotten Realms. It looks like a whole new setting. They were aiming for $1 million, and they're already over by 0.7. Another 25 days to go as well. They've already reached the first 3 stretch goals, which are an extra playable race, class, and companion character, a Mac version of the game, and an extended story, and another playable class and companion. We've already got 2 extra races and classes in there.
Wow. That's rather impressive.
Very good fan base they've got there already, and still with 25 days to go. That looks impressive.
Yeah, well, I think it just goes to show that people really want a well-made role-playing game. Really, you don't get that many of these party-based ones anymore. Beyond Dragon Age and, I guess, Mass Effect counts, even though it's not fantasy. You don't see it a whole lot. It's mainly BioWare putting them out, so it's nice to see Obsidian getting the money.
Is this turn-based or real-time?
It's real-time with a pause system, just like Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale. You can give commands while paused or play it entirely real-time. They also have a lot of good stuff for the people that want to pay a bit more. You can get digital soundtracks, collector's books, something they're calling the Digital Fun Pack. I don't actually know the details of that, but
It sounds fun.
It sounds fun, yeah. I think everyone gets an in-game item who funds at the base level for getting a copy, which is $25 for the game, plus an exclusive item, £15 in the UK and €19 in Europe. it's pretty exciting. And again, I'm probably going to end up funding this one.
I've got two that I've picked out, one of which is sort of a more typical game, and the second one of which is an interesting concept. The first one is Black Space, which is a game where it's mostly a real-time strategy game infused with elements of tower defense. Basically, you are a little spaceship lander type thing, which goes around, builds a base on an asteroid, mines out bits of the asteroid, and you have to go and move your stuff around, protect against attackers, defend your base, and take advantage of as many resources and minerals as you can find. Now, the goal for this is $750,000, and they're currently on about a seventh of that. We've got 27 days to go, so it's still quite possible. It's quite early days. They've only been online for 3 days so far, but considering they've made that much already, it looks like they're going to make it. The graphics, they say most of it is actually placeholder art, but it looks really good, and I'm loving the lighting system. It really does show it off. I mean, space games really do rely on their lighting system to show the dramatic differences between shade and light, and I'm really loving this stuff already, and they say this is mostly placeholder. I'm quite sold on it. The game mechanics itself sound like an interesting sort of hybrid. I'll be interested to see how it actually plays out, but they've already got sort of game development stuff available, and they've got a little video on the Kickstarter page showing the game in its preliminary state, which is quite nice. They're looking for, I think, $20 for a DRM-free digital copy of it, and you get a free wallpaper, and then you got the tiers, you get discounts on early stuff, and then you get to $70 and you get early access to the alpha version of it. I mean, you can go up all the more, and you can get dedicated one-on-one conversation if you want to pay $10,000, but a little bit out of my price range.
Yeah, I think it's out of most people's price range.
Yeah, but I do like the way they're presenting it, and they've got quite impressive graphics for it.
No, definitely. That's something I thought when I saw the trailer. It's a really beautiful-looking game already, which is crazy considering it's so early in development.
Yeah, I do like the company itself. They come across as being quite friendly, and they have a sense of humor in the video, which is very nice to see. I think that's sort of something that sort of sells it, that they're actually passionate about it.
Yeah, extremely important in an indie dev as well. You've got to appeal to your fan base.
Yeah, especially since your fan base is funding you, and you could get the money and then go under.
Indeed. But no, yeah, it looks really interesting seeing what I guess is sort of a tower defense in an actual 3D space. This whole 6 Degrees of Freedom space game is always really interesting to me.
You know the Oculus Rift, which is the new VR headset that was on Kickstarter a few months ago?
Oh, yeah.
They're developing it for that with head tracking stuff.
That is ridiculously cool.
Which would be pretty cool if they could get it in, yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to see a game like this on the Rift. It would be a nice selling point. And the second game, this is a little more quirky. It's called The Directorate. It's based around having 2 different spy factions. You've got sort of the Western Bloc, and then you've got a combination of China and Russia as this sort of communist superpower. And it's a real-life spy game, basically using mobile phones or tablets or whatever. You'd get given orders and missions and so on. You'd have to go to a certain place, do a certain drop. And your controller would also be another person who'd be giving you mission objectives and so on. And then another person on the other team would be asked to assassinate you en route, and basically you'd have to get within a certain range, pick a weapon from your drop down, and kill them. Or they might have to go to a safe house to avoid you. You could have to attack the safe house, and the safe house could be, I don't know, a bar or pub or whatever, which is shown in the trailer. I must note at the stage, the only thing they've actually shown in the trailer as such is storyboards. They don't actually have any working code. They've just got a storyboard shown on the Kickstarter. And while the storyboard does look intriguing...
Well, there's no proof of concept.
One thing that did worry me is that it's a very low price to kick it, which is something like $1 for early access to the beta.
I'm a bit dubious after that.
There's 2 problems with that. One is they're asking for a very small amount of money, and they want $250,000. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And also, they're wanting in-app purchases to support it. So maybe, you pay $2 for an assault rifle or $3 for whatever.
But those are items you can acquire in-game anyway.
Presumably, they haven't said, but you probably get a basic weapon, it seems. But the problem is that when they get to... In the storyboard, they show the guy goes to a safe house to avoid getting killed en route. And now the person trying to kill him is told to attack the safe house. And the only way to do that, according to the storyboard, is to pay $5 for a bomb. And that seems to be another pay-to-win aspect of these.
Yeah, that's not something we want. That's not a good way of selling it to people.
Yeah, it's a microtransaction system that's been taken, and then the pay-to-win is horrible because you just don't want to buy a game where you can't finish half of the content. That's not the right attitude and way to go around it.
No, I agree.
Sounds like quite a bad selling point for me. I'm not sure that I'd invest in that.
Yeah, and another problem with these social type games that require a lot of people is they've got a lot of potential. I mean, I love the idea, but they require a lot of people in one place. If you don't have the population density to do it, you'll be maybe 2 guys in the whole of a city. You're never really going to bump into each other, and even if you do get given missions, who are you going to have counteracting you? Who are you going to be doing the drop with?
For sure. I have one question. You said that they were being given missions. Is that by someone in particular? Like, is there a rank system in it that you can give orders to people lower down than you, or...?
They don't appear to have a rank system. You get to choose whether you are a spy on the ground or whether you're a handler, according to the storyboard at least. And the handler can give them a mission and monitor them.
That's got to be dealt with fairly carefully as well. Because if you've got no one wanting to be a handler...
Yeah, there is room for people trolling or whatever, just being like, go here, do this mission. The one thing I find really worrying is they haven't actually mentioned the hardware involved. The only vague references to what it will run on are mobile PCs, browsers, and tablets.
Apple products like iOS never seem to do well with this sort of thing. Apple are very reluctant to give away keys for iOS games. So I don't see this being on iOS, at least not. No one will get an iOS copy that funded it, I don't think.
Yeah, if you're going to back this, you're going to back it knowing you want to try and get it. And if you've got an Apple phone, you don't know it's going to be on Apple. If you've got an Android, you don't know it's going to be an Android. Browsers, no one's going to walk around with their laptop open trying to get a kill. It seems they haven't been specific. They haven't got anything other than an idea and a storyboard for something that sounds rather cool, except the microtransactions are going to frustrate me. It almost suggests pay to win. They haven't got any hardware outlined, and they haven't got any actual logistics outlined for it.
So it's a good idea, but it's going to fall victim to vagueness and poor execution.
It's a lovely idea, and it's got 14 days to go. It's only got 300 backers, and that tells you something. They've got 4% of their goal. I mean, I really do love the idea, and I think it's something that really could take off if aimed correctly. Like if you aimed it at small groups of students or something at universities or whatever, it'd be grand. It would be able to entrench there, and you could always expand it from that fan base. But you need an initial fan base, and you need to be more specific about your goals. And this is one of the problems with Kickstarter: is people go on and go, I can Kickstart, I can get money for my indie game, and they start so early on. They do not have a viable product to show people. People aren't going to put their money forwards for something that could potentially quite easily fall flat on its face.
For sure. It'll be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah. So what about you, Charlie? What have you got for us today?
Right, well, my piece for the party is a look at Pro Pinball, which is a re-envisaging of the Pro Pinball series that was in the 90s. We're looking at 1995 for the original series, and a few further developments in the years just after it. Now, I, as many people, spent quite a long time on computers playing around on pinball simulators. They're a lot easier to fit into your home than a real thing. Okay, so the guys here are actually part of the original team that made the first set of them. They've just recently regained the rights to all the pieces from the parent company, so they're free to do what they want. The idea is to upgrade them graphically and physically. They're also collaborating with a rather famous man in the pinball scene, Pat Lawler, to create a new Pro Pinball map. So that's remastering of 4 old maps, which are classics, and development of a brand new one for this. For getting on board with the game itself, you're looking at pledging at least $10, which breaks down quite well for us. We're looking at just under £7 British, or just under €8, which isn't bad at all. So $10, $15 gets you the 4 old maps and a digital download of the new one. Now, if you're looking at for more of an iOS or an Android version of it, you're looking more like $20 for that version of it. So unfortunately, a little bit pricier for those handheld gamers out there. We're looking at release dates across the next year through to October 2013, with that being the date for the final release of the last and new to be designed map. Now, this isn't only released on computers at all. We're looking at PlayStation, we're looking at Xbox, we're looking at handheld PS Vitas and the like as well. It's going to be pretty fantastic. It's quite a niche audience, but if you're into that sort of thing, then this looks like the game for you.
And you're a fan of these sort of pinball games, aren't you?
Certainly. I spent many hours when I was younger just trying to get that high score. I think once you're addicted, that's it. You've been suckered in for life. I mean, they're looking at a lofty goal, really, of $400,000. So far, they've got 20% of that done, and they've got 13 days left.
And it's been going currently for 16 days, so...
Yep, I'm just hoping that they'll get that end rush to get there.
Still time to get in there, though.
Definitely.
Well, it's definitely promising that these are guys that have worked on this sort of thing before and clearly have been interested in it for like over a decade.
Oh yeah, they look very confident in certainly their ability to deliver on what they're promising. The only thing that's...
And we're all about looks here at 2 Second Impact.
Hell yeah.
So
just what it looks like. Don't care what's under the bonnet.
The only thing that might have been a bit shoddy was their intro video, which I think was very much tongue-in-cheek, taking a mick out of themselves, which I can certainly appreciate. So yeah, that's one to keep an eye on, and back if you like it.
So, I think that's it from us for today.
Alright.
Yep.
Well, thanks for watching today, guys. Please do feel free to check the links in the description for the Kickstarters. They'll all be there available. As we said, we've got 4 quite promising looking ones. One maybe not quite so promising, but if it's your sort of thing, please do go and support these things. They can't get off the ground without you. If you've enjoyed what you've seen today, remember to like us and subscribe for similar videos. We'll also be looking at other items coming up, like Faster Than Light, which Keith and Alex are doing a small series on. Catch you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.